Hey everyone, it's Matt with EquiPredict.com. Thanks so much for checking this video out. In this video, we're going to be covering your next entries into TQQQ, TECL, and even XLK. And again, if you're enjoying some of the content here on the channel and finding it helpful for you in your trading, please do subscribe to the channel. You can also head over to our website, EquiPredict.com. There's a whole bunch of information over there to help you improve your game at technical analysis and also forecast the market. So it's EquiPredict.com. Up on the screen here, we've got a weekly chart of XLK. We're going to be using it as a stand-in for TECL to represent TECL and TQQQ. The reason being is that we use non-leveraged ETFs when we're doing our analysis to time our entries into the leveraged ETFs like TECL or TQQQ. Reason for that is because with the leveraged ETFs you have slippage. You don't get as accurate of a reading on some of the models as you do with the non-leveraged. So we're going to be using XLK here to make the representation. And again, this is the weekly chart. We're going to go through a whole bunch of different components in this chart so you can better understand why we're formulating this opinion as we are right now and what the model is telling us. And for our readers over at EquiPredict.com, we're going to be sending out the week of August 5th. We're going to be sending out an entry alert that week when the model tells us to do so to our readers over there, over at the website. But nonetheless, here's the weekly chart. We'll go over each one of these components. On the bottom panel, we've got the EquiPredict model overlaid on the HLC bars for XLK. And again, this is just as a reminder, this is a representation of TECL and even TQQQ. And right now, what it's telling us is that as the week ending the 12th of July, we're at a high risk period. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to see a drop off. We've got sort of a scenario A and a scenario B going into the first week of August for XLK, for TECL, for TQQQ. And so we'll kind of run through each one. The EquiPredict model is telling us that we're going to see some strength developing sometime in that first week of August, and potentially weakness developing the week of the 16th of September. And I'll kind of, just for those who are new to the channel, kind of go over the model tells us when we can expect some strength, some weakness, strength, weakness. So again, it doesn't necessarily predict perfectly the exact moment to buy and sell, but it does give us a roadmap, which is pretty darn, which we love, and it's pretty darn good in helping us understand when to look at the calendar to pick our entries and when to understand when the risk is high. It's superb at calling the bottoms, and it gives us an alert as to when we might anticipate seeing some weakness and to kind of pause and wait. And so as you can see here, like just for example, it told us that we may start seeing some weakness here between February and March in TECL and XLK, and sure enough, we had a topping pattern, and then also told us to start looking sometime around early April, mid-April for another entry. Again, you could have entered into this bar here and rode the strength up here. So I hope you understand how the model works. Again, here we are right here at the end of this week. It's telling us that this is a moment to look and pause. Could it continue to run and invert with the model? It absolutely could. But right now, we're going to be looking at the week of August 5th to take our next entry. And we're going to, again, send out to our readers over at EquiPredict.com the alert that week. Up on the top panel here, we've got your standard, this is a performance graph for how XLK and TECL and TQQQ are doing in comparison to the stock market. As you can see, it's been a great ride. If this line is going up, it means that it's outperforming the markets. If it's going down, it's underperforming the markets. So this is your typical rotation from sort of risk on or growth into value as you go through the year. And this goes all the way back to, I think, April of 2023. And so just with your typical, this is a very static cycle that we've overlaid. This is that yellow line here. You can see that there's just a pattern, a cycle pattern to this, and right now we're sort of at that top or near the top on the back end of that cycle. Does it again mean that the performance of XLK is going to drop off precipitously into that first weekend of August? Not necessarily, but it does tell us that there is a cycle pattern that does exist, and we're just observing that. We're just taking a close look at that and watching it for the performance, because what we want to do is not only enter at the right time for XLK, but we also want to outperform the markets. It's kind of like adding afterburners to your stock selection, and we do this for a whole host of stocks as well, and we do send those out to our readers over at EquiPredict. On the, and I've just also outlined sort of a momentum reading that we have overlaid on the performance, and you can see here with these blue lines, and I'll just kind of highlight them It alerts us to when we should, again, when risk is starting to increase in terms of taking up long positions, and when you get sort of this divergence up here on the top left-hand panel with the momentum, price continues to climb. It tells you that entering right here, when the model tells you that there's a high risk of weakness, it tells you to pause and wait for the next entry. You don't always get a divergence. It doesn't always happen, and we don't have it here for this particular run to the upside, as you can see right here. Okay, there's no divergence yet. But going into September 16th, the week that's kind of middle of September, we certainly could see some divergence in the model, where you do have sort of a peak here. We do have a nice run, potential strength, a potential run of strength going into September, but a divergence in momentum and a fall off after the 16th. That's sort of what the model is telling us is a possible probability. And so, again, I've just highlighted a few green circles here of when your entry is. And again, we don't have an exact point in time on the performance model, but we do on the price action model that the week of August 5th is when you want to be looking for your next entry for strength in TECL or TQQQ, and then again riding it up to an area of potential weakness that will be forming sometime in the mid of September. So I hope this helps. I hope with your trading. I hope this helps with your selection of your entry into TECL and TQQQ. Good luck and good trading.